Hello, this is Dave Wright at FF_Spaceman, and you are listening to the Dynasty Hotseat.
Yes, hello everybody and welcome back once again to the Dynasty Hotseat. It's the only Dynasty show out there that's a certified inferno. And today we're super lucky. We've got Dave Wright over here joining us today. You can find him on Twitter at FF_Spaceman. He's one of the best writers around for DLF. He's got his very own podcast as well, the Tale of Two Rivals podcast. He has an incredible wealth of spreadsheet bliss over at his Patreon, and he's doing some exciting things for charity coming up too. So Dave, thank you so much for coming on, and welcome to the podcast.
Connor, it's awesome. I'm pumped to be here. I'm ready to bring the fire. And yeah, some of the things you're talking about as far as charity, we've got the Scott Fishbowl Podathon is starting to fire up here. It's coming up in July, and last year we raised well over $20,000. So we're hoping to beat that again. So we're really looking forward to raising money for charity for the Scott Fishbowl. Money goes to different charities for that. And that's a 24-hour podathon. Scott Fishbowl, it's a great networking charity, probably the biggest charity tournament in the world, probably, I would say. Let's just say it now. We're on the hot seat. Might as well just get hot, right?
Yeah. I love it.
And then also too, you can check, if you also are looking to get involved in charity, you can also hit me up for a personalized podcast for your Dynasty League for a donation to charity. So yeah, definitely. It's starting to get charity season. You've reaped all the rewards from in season. You've gotten all your, you've gotten all your winnings. It's time to put some of that back, into charity. So this is what it's all about.
I absolutely love it. Yeah, you're right. Scott Fishbowl obviously just has done so much and just continues to grow and get bigger every single year, and all of that money going to a great cause. So thank you for helping out raise so much money. That's amazing.
I'm behind the scenes here, so it's mostly Sal Lito and everyone on the scenes here, but I'm the fundraising guy. I slide in your DMs, and that's so everyone I'll probably be sliding everyone's DMs here who's listening, so get ready for it at some point.
Love it. And so let's give all of those listeners right now a chance to hear, some of your hints and your tips for Dynasty players, old and new or anything in between. What you got for us?
Sweet. So it was actually kind of tough to whittle it down here because I'd start on one hint and then I'd want to go off on a tangent here, but we'll start with one of my bread and butter here is know the Dynasty calendar. A player and pick values change depending on where it is in the season, off season, where you are. And you have to understand how those values ebb and flow. And it literally is like clockwork, and how those things work. Every single year after year, people can fall into traps of not selling players or trading for players at the right time or cutting bait just because of where they're in the calendar. So, you got to maximize that value. And so the first thing is a couple of what do I mean by this? Well, veterans are always cheapest at the trade deadline and in January. And then through rookie drafts, that's when veterans are at their cheapest. So if you're looking, now is not the time to be maximizing your value for DeAndre Hopkins. Don't do it right now. That's not the time to be trading your veteran, your expiring assets. You want to, they're going to start to get a tick back up in July and August once the redraft season starts. So that's when people want to start thinking about their lineups. That's when you start making your moves with your veterans or in season, if you want to be maximizing that value. And then rookie pick values, so just going right on to the next thing. Those values, they peak during rookie drafts, and they're the easiest to acquire the first month of Dynasty season, but then they tick back up, like their value goes up in the trade season when people are trying to start to rebuilding for next year. Those picks go up. And then as you get closer to the rookie drafts, they start to skyrocket. So you don't want to be, now it's too late to be going those rookie picks. You should have been getting them in, previous years, when they're cheaper. And then that kind of piggybacks my next thing, just of like how rookies and first year or second going their second year, those young players, they gain value in the beginning of the offseason, especially rookies. Starting in January, they're at their cheapest, and then they start to gain value. So when people make their dynasty rankings, or you see consensus ADP over at DLF or Keep Trade Cut or wherever you player profile, you see these rookies consistently year after year, or if you're into best ball. I know this is Dynasty Hotseat, but if you're into best ball,
yeah,
consistently, rookies will go up in value as the season continues. So get in early. And people are afraid they're gonna miss. That's the problem. They're gonna miss. Don't be afraid about missing, because that value gain, if you were in on Breece Hall when he was the RB11, RB12, or before the combine, people are having startups with rookies in those drafts, and you take him as the RB12, RB13. Well, now he's considered a top 5 dynasty RB, and you've already gained value before even in the NFL. So, and just another great time, as far as knowing the dynasty calendar, in October, that's when there's a rookie dip. Remember AJ Brown? He was to be had for 2 second-round picks and a wide receiver. Like he disappointed early on, and I got him everywhere, because like the teams I wasn't able to get him in the second round of dynasty drafts, you could get him in the first month of the season because people were disappointed. So you can definitely go shopping for your rookies early in October. And then, yeah, I think that's it. I could keep going on and on, but then I guess the last thing, middle tier RBs, they become hard to move once January and February come, those middle tier RBs, because people don't know about their volume. People are worried about rookies coming in, free agents. So you don't want to be paying high right at the beginning of the offseason, because that value is going to dip. So that's kind of my first overall piece of advice. That was a big one, but just know your dynasty calendar.
Yeah, absolutely love that. Being aware. I think I was just talking about it with Kev over at the Fantasy Wildcard podcast. I know you've been on there before, and he was sort of saying a similar thing. Like those picks, like even though it doesn't, picks don't have form, or they don't like have good games and bad games, but the value changes so much, even though it's just like a number. So it's just paying attention to when is it at that peak and when is it at that trough, and being able to move or gain them at the right time. So I think those little intangibles really do make a huge difference whenever it comes time to draft teams and to pick your new rookies. I think that's great advice. No one the calendar. And you're right, it does work, just like clockwork sometimes. After the draft happens, the NFL draft, things are going to take another step up as well. You can bet with these rookie picks. So I love that for a first tip. And what do you got for us for your second tip?
So this is an idea that I've been thinking about for a while, and I actually spent a lot of time on it. It's not a fully formed idea yet, but I just felt like this was a good time to really broach it. And we are really bad at calculating risk in fantasy football. Risk is a very complicated thing. Often not understanding risk and misjudging risk and not appropriately assessing it. That led to the movie The Big Short. That was basically what caused the housing crisis back in 2007, 2008, is that people thought, oh no, houses are the most stable, those 30-year loans, those are some of the most stable prices in the economy, like assets in the economy. They're too safe. They're too safe to fail. And then what happened? The miscalculation brought down the entire economy across the global economy. So understanding risk is key. And often you hear players too risky, and risk is one of the more popular words you hear nowadays when you're listening to analysis on players in particular. And I think too often risk is associated with what we don't know in fantasy football, or what is unknown. And I think that's not the way to look at it. We don't know, we don't know what this volume is going to be. He's young. He hasn't done it before. We don't know where he is in his rehab yet. And, player X hasn't been named the starter yet. All these things we always hear, and that's risk. And I'm actually going to say that's actually a time that I'm going to disagree there, because one of the biggest mistakes people make, we just don't know as much as we think we do. The things I know the most about is what I don't know, actually. That's, I think, a really piece of advice. People are going to tell you all the time on social media and on podcasts, they know this, they know that. I think it's more, I always want to hear what don't we know, because that's where that's where value can be had, when in that uncertain backfields, trades, people are worried about a player, injuries. Travis Etienne, let's, for example, Cam Akers versus Travis Etienne. Cam Akers was, people were oh, he's already back on the field, and his value was going way up. It was skyrocketing. And then it's kind of taken a tumble because he didn't like perform as well in the playoffs, which I think is expected given his injury. But then or even J.K. Dobbins, people are really excited about J.K. They have him really high. He's a top probably 8 dynasty running back right now. But then you weren't hearing the same buzz for Travis Etienne. And they're like, oh, well, we haven't heard any updates on his injury yet. I'm like, well, it's been a full year almost. So why aren't we like, you're really going to just be uncertain? No, take advantage. It's not risky. It's got like, that's not risk to me. It's just unknown. So, and safe in fantasy football is a little bit of a misnomer because we always talk about players like, oh, he's safe. He's gonna have a ton of opportunity. There's gonna be tons of targets there. There's vacated targets. That's when those kind of things are safety are driving the conversation. I think that's a red flag because we should be letting talent, and opportunity is king, but letting talent really drive these conversations because talent rises to the top and those things. So what's the takeaway from this is, yeah, we don't know things about young players. They haven't done it yet, but we do know about historical hit rates. We know about player archetypes, of the importance of rushing with quarterbacks, about receiving upside with running backs. And then, special teams ability really is a good signal for late rookie pit, like to find value at wide receiver in rookie drafts. So instead of looking at like what we don't know and then calling that risky, I think you should look at more of like the cost, the range of likely outcomes, things we do know, and trying to make smart bets to get that ROI. And Trey Lance is one of those players I'm doing right now, Travis Etienne, and then rookies, of course, and then young second-year wide receivers. Those are always great investments. I think it's not risk. People want to talk about risk. They think it's more risk aversion. Think more of his risk management because there is no such thing as floor. Every player's floor is 0. So I'm really passionate about this. So sorry to get like a little bringing the heat for the hot seat, but
love it.
It's not about risk management. It's not about risk aversion. It's risk management because there's risk with every single player.
Yeah, I think that is really, really, that's really like, I find that, just really fascinating to listen to, like, just thinking like everyone is kind of steering into, I know this. And it's amazing sometimes how, like, even something like you just mentioned, like J.K. Dobbins posts something on social media of him like running through some cones and everyone's like, oh, he's back. Like he's going to absolutely like dominate. And it's like, but he's just running through some cones. Like how could you take all of that from a short, like 30-second video? Whereas, Travis Etienne's maybe been a bit quieter. So people are more, he hasn't posted something on social media. So people are like, I'm not sure.
And the thing is they both had the same amount of injury recovery time, if you think about it. So I think their bet the delta, the change, like the distance between the values of those two players, I don't understand. I know we've seen J.K. Dobbins in the NFL, but Travis Etienne could have been argued if he had come out the same year as J.K. Dobbins was a better prospect than J.K. Dobbins. So I just think those are kind of moves to think of. Don't think about it as what we don't know and risk, but what the range of outcomes and how much it costs to actually make this. It's opportunity cost. That's what we want to carry, and then what that payoff is going to be.
I love it. That is brilliant advice. Just take a more like holistic view of each player, like looking at everything. I think it's brilliant. You got one more for us, Steve?
I do, and I felt like I came a little bit. That was a hot one there with the risk because people, everyone's like, oh, you want to be, don't. The risk is a big. People want to talk about safety all the time, making the smart play. So I want to tone it down a little bit here and say, I think, as the hot seat, you're going to have a wide range of listeners, people who are experienced dynasty managers, and then also people who are just getting into dynasty.
Yeah.
I think for everyone, your goal should be to become more self-sufficient in your fantasy analysis. Don't just rely on other people and their advice to tell you what to do. We all have people that we trust and we respect.
Yeah.
And their work, JJ Zacharyson, Ryan McDowell, there's Scott Fish, there's Titans in the fantasy industry. And of course you want to take their advice and they're really smart and they're really good at what they do. But we don't want to be parroting everything they're saying because this is our teams, this is our teams, and you don't want to have an instinct and then just follow what someone else is saying and what you were believing to pay off, like it was actually the right choice. So I think where we're getting your information from. I think everyone should be looking for their information from places that teach you what they're talking about. I don't want to listen to a podcast or read an article where someone's just telling me what to do, because I want to see, like, hey, I want to see how the sauce is made, how they're making their like how they're making these decisions. And I want to try to see, oh, I really like that process. I want to adopt it into my process and do it that way. That's more of a, I think, a tribute to people that, JJ Zacharyson, I've taken a lot of his process, Peter Howard. There's tons of people that I've really like a lot of things that they've done, and I try to incorporate into my process. So I think you're going to see a lot of benefits to trying to, and a system, like not just a go with my gut type of thing, but more of a systematic approach to things where you can have that to rely on and start just becoming more self-sufficient. Because I think that's something that is some of the best advice that I could do is like, don't listen to the crowd, always listen to the crowd. Don't always listen to the talking heads. It's your team, you're the manager, and yeah, you're going to make mistakes along the way. Trust me, I made a ton of stupid decisions, but every wrong decision that I've made has made improvements somewhere else that's helped me in the future. Yeah. So that's obvious and everything, but I think that's just something that I was trying to go with some different advice you normally get here. So I tried to, that last one is, try to slide it under there, something a little bit off the normal path here.
Yeah, I really like that one as well. Like, I think I was just discussing a few days ago with Murph over at 5 Yard Rush, and he kind of said, Dynasty isn't like redraft. If redraft is like checkers and Dynasty is like chess. Like, you can't, like, someone may tell you, I'll go and buy this player, but they've not seen your team. They don't know what capital you have. They don't know, what other players in that same position you have. So you can't just, you're right, like, just listen to the talking heads that say, you need to sell this player, or you need to buy this player, because, it's a game of chess. They don't know what position you're in everywhere else on the board. So you're right. You have to have your own process to understand it a bit better.
My former co-host on Rookie Fever, Finero, in the opening, he says it best: nothing is in a vacuum. So one of my favorite lines in fantasy: nothing is in a vacuum.
Nothing is in a vacuum. And we're about to put you in a flaming vacuum, you might say, actually, because it's time for segment 2, which is the hottest part of the hot seat. It's the Hotseat Mock Draft, and that's coming right up now. Okay, so here we are. We're back in segment number 2, and we are now sitting firmly in the hot seat. Dave, how are you feeling about the seat? Is it getting a bit spicy over there?
I'm sweating. I got my Tail Two Rivals mug over here. It's about 3/4 of the way gone already of water. It's still only 10 o'clock here in the States. So, but no, I'm sweating. And then here, this mock draft, I usually like to take hours grueling over every pick here. Rapid fire. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I just dropped a bomb on you as well, saying we don't have rookies in this as well, and it's all off to a bad start, but you're going to recover, I'm sure.
I'm in denial, so it hasn't sunk in for me yet.
Right, well, let's get rolling, and the first thing I'm going to ask you is, in an absolutely ideal world, what position would you choose to start from in a startup draft?
It depends. Honestly, it depends. It's all about knowing. So that's part of the game theory, is that you're playing the people in your league, and you got to play based on what you're given. I was just in a startup right now that I'm in, and I got the 11th spot, and that's not ideal for me, because I don't like to have that long of a wait in between picks. That 20 picks go off the board in between each, that last pick. That's really hard to do, but you're moving up and down the board. You're just going to have to become more flexible with that. So it's out of my comfort zone, but you got to adjust and make go. Now, if I was going to say my ideal spot would probably be early on in that first tier of quarterbacks in a Superflex draft, just because other people value that so highly as well.
Yeah.
So you can get a lot of trade value, pick up future first round picks, pick up extra draft picks in that sweet spot of the 7th, 8th, 9th round, where you still get a lot of high quality starters, and you can also have them gain a lot of value in your roster. So I think that early on, it depends, and also too, what kind of mood I'm in each day. Like, sometimes I like to be in the middle, early back. So I don't have a great answer for you, but I guess if I had to nail it down, it'd be early on, so I can just trade those picks for more value.
Nice. Is that somewhere you're gonna select for us here in this draft? You thinking position 1, 2, 3?
I guess we'll just say 4 there. We'll just say 4 to
4.
start.
Boom. Let's lock in position number 4 then, and we'll get this draft rolling. So, position 4 locked in, and here we go. As you'd imagine, first 3 off the board. You got Allen, Mahomes, Herbert, all coming off the board 1, 2, 3. And now, here we are. We got Jonathan Taylor, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, and Lamar Jackson sitting up the top, along with the 2 sort of top tier wide receivers with Chase and Jefferson. Anyone standing out for you there?
I really like going wide receivers because I love building my team around receivers. However, the benefit of having like an early pick in a superflex startup draft is you get to get one of those elite quarterbacks. And actually, my 3rd quarterback has fallen to 4 here in this draft. Kyler Murray. I know the injuries at the end of the last couple of seasons have really diminished his value, but his combination of rushing and passing ability combined with they took a step back this year, but even the high paced nature of the Arizona offense allows for more volume. Give me Kyler Murray right here. And I know people are kind of down on him too because of the supposed drama of just taking everyone off his social media account. Like, yeah, that doesn't bother me. This is fantasy football here. Give me Kyler Murray.
Yeah, he put everyone back on as well. So everything's just fine now, I'm sure as well.
It's a business, just like this pick's a business. This is a business decision.
This is a business decision. Let's get Kyler Murray locked up as the 4th pick of this draft, our first player coming off the board. And you imagine your Justin Jefferson coming off there. You imagine Jamar Chase won't be too far up behind him as he pings off there at pick number 10. And we got a little bit of a wait before we swing back round to us at sort of the back end of round number 2, as you know, kind of names that you'd expect. Miami's new weapon there, Tyreek Hill. I'm a Chiefs fan. I'm not over it. Maybe by the start of next year, whenever I'm looking at him in a Dolphins uniform, I might accept it a bit more. So here we go. We got Cooper Kupp, Trey Lance, someone you just talked about earlier as well, still there, and Kyle Pitts, the tight end phenom.
So this is where it gets tough because this is right where I love to take Breece Hall. Breece Hall is a screaming value. No, I wouldn't say a value right now because after his combine and everything, but oh man, I think he is already a top 4 back in Dynasty right now. So he is available at this point in the 2nd round and a startup every time. So love targeting Breece Hall, but looking at the players that are available here, I could double tap QB or which I actually did I started up my last year. I took Trey Lance here in the 2nd round, but I'm not really looking to do that right here just because, not because of the uncertainty, but just because I think if you're starting to invest this much assets in a quarterback early on in a superflex draft, I know what quarterback's really valuable, but I think that you're going to miss out on other spots here. So can you filter out and see what all the wide receivers are available for me?
Yeah, of course. So you have Cooper Kupp and Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, and Jalen Waddle still there as well as some other good players like Diggs and Higgins. So much quality still there.
So I bet. So if what I'm going to do here is just because this is kind of just for an exercise, I am going to stick to my rankings here. I'm not going to really move around right here. And so I don't like, and the funny thing is I don't love making this pick here at this value. Actually, we're coming back around. Actually, am going to wait here. And I'm going to go play some game theory here. And I think he's going to fall to me next. Let's see the tight ends and the running backs, if you don't mind real quick.
So there's the tight ends and the running back. Do you want receivers still on or do you want them off?
Yeah, sure. Running back. Okay. So yeah, I'm looking here and I'm not really loving the running backs are on the board here. And then I don't like Cooper Kupp. I like Cooper Kupp, but he's older. Like his value is most likely going to continue. I think we probably just saw the best season of Cooper Kupp's career here. So and it's not tight end premium. Jeez, I think I am going to go on the clock. A lot of hemming and hawing here. So yeah, I am suffering on the Dynasty Hotseat as we speak.
It happens to the best of us. Don't worry.
I am going to go Kyle Pitts here.
Kyle Pitts, the tight end phenom coming out of Atlanta. We'll get him locked in. And he looked phenomenal in his first year, apart from, just didn't get the touchdown. So you'd think that's surely something that'll start to creep up as, as he gets more used to the NFL and the coverage there.
And to be honest, if I'm taking Kyle Pitts here, I'm most likely not making it to the season with Kyle Pitts on my squad. I'm probably going to end up trading him for more assets because he's one of the most valuable, like he's an incredibly hot commodity here.
Yeah.
But for this build and where I thought the value was, I think Kyle Pitts kind of was a screaming value there.
Yeah.
And then next here is who I would, if I was locked in and couldn't take a rookie, couldn't, trade Kyle Pitts for more value.
Yeah.
Who I would have gone, just sticking to my board. T Higgins is currently my dynasty wide receiver 4. Yeah, there he is right there. So I'll take T Higgins here. People are going to be scared away that Jamar Chase is the alpha there, but I think we're going to see here is just that T Higgins is a dominant wide receiver in his own right, and having someone on his own, Jamar Chase on the same team, all that means is more first downs, which means more volume, more red zone attempts, more opportunities for receiving yards, and also better coverage more favorable coverage on more plays from Joe Burrow there. So give me T Higgins.
Yeah, I really like that as well. That's sort of a similar thoughts about T Higgins, that people are going to have to start double teaming Jamar Chase if he keeps just winning those one-on-one battles. So that just leaves so much more space for T Higgins to thrive. So I think, while some people can be scared by Jamar Chase, actually, put a positive spin on it as well. You can think that's actually going to give him more opportunity. And here we go. Round number 4, back end. Pick number 9. Who have we got? We've got Chris Godwin, Tua, and Deontay Johnson sitting up at the top of our list, as well as, Mac Jones and Cam Akers pretty high.
Yeah, so I'm looking at my rankings right here, and by tiers here, all of my second tier running backs are gone. And Tua is the best QB available. Can you actually just see the QBs that are on the board?
Yeah, of course. So Tua and Mac Jones are there, like we talked about. And then you got Ryan Tannehill, Zach Wilson, Carson Wentz, and then sort of the safety blanket ones like Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, and Derek Carr still there.
All right, so I'm pretty comfortable not going quarterback here, because when you invest early in a quarterback, I'm totally comfortable with them carrying me, and then either not necessarily streaming, but playing the best of my QB 2, 3, 4 options on my squad in that second spot. So no, not going QB here. And then let's take a look at the running backs and get rid of the quarterback. Definitely not going quarterback. So Cam Akers, Travis Etienne, Aaron Jones.
Ezekiel Elliott still there as well.
Ezekiel Elliott's really pretty down on my ranking. So I can already tell you we're not going to get Ezekiel Elliott, just because. So one of the things I was going to think about talking about was that I'm a ageist when it comes to running backs. The majority of production from these running backs come in the first 3 years of their career, and that's when the difference between their ADP and their actual production is the highest. So I like to get in early on young running backs, and by the time their value catches up, I like to cash out, maximize value, and just keep churning those young running backs in my roster. So I'm definitely not going Zeke, but then I think we're going back to the wide receiver well here. And we're going to go. All right. And we can get rid of the running backs too.
Yeah, let's go. So it's,
So
wide receivers only.
So I'm basically choosing between Deontay Johnson, Devonta Smith, and Elijah Moore for me right here. And looking at my tiers here, those are actually all right back to back in my tiers, and it just comes down to preference at this point. And I guess I'm going to go Deontay Johnson. And I actually didn't ask what the starting lineups. Was also another thing I was going to say. I'm just going to assume that they start 3 wide receivers, start 2 running backs in this roster. And if that's the case, a big strategy of mine is to pound wide receivers, because everyone says, "Oh, there's tons of wide receivers." I don't know. People have been in drafts this year. The wide receivers aren't as deep as we think they are. So I am all about just going back to the well at wide receiver and getting Deontay Johnson here.
Yeah, I really like that. And I think, that's a really good point about the wide receivers not being as deep as you think, because I actually think one of the most common ideas people have is to load up on wide receiver. So if everybody's loading up on wide receiver, then all of a sudden there aren't as many wide receivers available as you think. So yeah, you got to love getting Deontay Johnson here in the 4th round.
And say everyone also, there's a lot of people that are hungry for wide receivers right now. I'm in a startup right now, and wide receivers went fast. And so what I had to do is I actually had to pivot to running back, and where I went more of a running back heavy build, which isn't really my style.
But yeah, you got to love like being able to zig when other people are zagging. You're going to get loads of value in there as well, which is great. So I'll stick on all the players again there, as you know, a couple of people we did talk about earlier still there, like Travis Etienne and some wide receivers like Devonta Smith still there as well, and Elijah Moore.
So we can get. I'm definitely still waiting at quarterback,
cool.
And not even touching tight end. So it comes down to a cute running back and wide receiver. And then I'm gonna have a big jump here between my next tier here, and I haven't gone running back yet. And Travis Etienne is sitting right there, but then so it's coming down to Travis Etienne, Devonta Smith, and Elijah Moore for me. And for this build, man, I can't believe Travis Etienne going the 5th round seems a little early, but without rookies, that makes sense. So man, it's gonna be sad not having. You know what? Yeah, let's go Travis Etienne here. The reason why I want to go Travis Etienne is I think he's got a 200 carry floor with, I would say maybe 180 carry floor, and then massive receiving. He could get 80, 90 targets this year. And to get him at what we're in the 5th round, my RB1 to lock in here, I'm totally confident in Travis Etienne.
Yeah, I think Travis Etienne is going to have a fantastic year, you know, all being well, and you know, hopefully his injury's fully recovered. Like, just, you know, at times Trevor Lawrence did look a bit lost out there sort of last year, and I think having, you know, Etienne back, who he's so used to playing with, will actually really help him just sort of maybe relax a little bit, take a bit more time, and have that safety blanket there with his old college teammate.
And see, the reason why I really wanted to go Elijah Moore there because and Devonta Smith, but looking at the running backs who are left in the, let's see what we have for running backs left here, because the best running back now is we're already in like the Ezekiel, Michael Carter, CEH range.
Yeah. And
I'm okay with building my running backs around that way, but when you don't have the rookies involved, it gets ugly quick. So I need at least one running back to have as an anchor here. So
yeah.
And none of these running backs scream to me at the moment. So we're probably going back to wide receiver.
Mike Evans sitting up at the top there, along with, you know, some other big names from around the NFL.
So, and Amon-Ra is gone. No, Amon-Ra is right here. So right here, what I'm looking at are the beginning of my tier 5 of wide receivers is going to be Brandon Ayuk, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Marquis Brown are kind of how I'm playing it. And actually, let's just see the quarterbacks right here to see if there's any value at quarterback, just to make sure.
Wilson, Wentz, Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield. A lot of risk.
Yeah, so
and age.
Oh, you're trying to trick me with this risk comments, huh? No, I'm just no, I think I'm gonna just go. We're gonna go Amon-Ra right here.
Let's get Amon-Ra St. Brown locked up into our team. You know, what a fantastic end of the season he had, and just looked phenomenal, right? And don't see any reason why can't just continue that.
So that was not ideal. Marquis Brown going off the board here was not. I usually don't. I feel like he's I usually would see him fall to me there. So I'm kind of disappointed to see Hollywood not there. Looking at this, we've got kind of all right. Can we actually see what our team looks like too? Like recap
yeah, of
what
course.
Our squad looks like here.
Yeah, so the team at the minute, you got Connor Murray, Kyle Pitts, T. Higgins, Deontay Johnson, Travis Etienne, and Amon-Ra St. Brown as well.
So it's going to come down to the quarterback for me and the wide receivers. And Kirk Cousins he must be still on the board, right? Somewhere.
Kirk Cousins is there sort of near, just past the halfway mark. And you know, people like Derek Carr still there as well, sort of a similar kind of safety quarterback.
So it comes down to if I'm going to take Kirk Cousins versus Brandon Ayuk, and I'm just going to go with the position here and go. Actually, I'm going to look at my QB tiers really quick. Yeah, Kirk Cousins is my eye here. I'm going to go Kirk Cousins here. Lock him in. He's been consistently a low end top 12 QB for the last several seasons, or or a high end QB2. And I really like what Kevin O'Connell and what Minnesota is doing in their ownership or not their ownership, but in their front office, going to more analytical viewpoint. So I could really see them going to more pass happy offense. And I think that would really benefit Kirk Cousins and the surrounding assets or weapons there. So I think Kirk Cousins has some decent, I'm not saying he's going to be finished as a mid QB1 or anything like that, but if there's a passing uptick in that offense, I think that just solidifies him as a low end QB1. And to pair him with Kyler, this wide receiver build here, I like Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins, coming in is always, you can rely on Kirk Cousins, and even just look at the people that he's throwing to in Minnesota. It's just a wealth of talent there. So you got to be pleased getting Kirk Cousins as your quarterback too. As so many people coming on the show have been able to do as well. Kirk Cousins, one of the most popular picks on the hot seat.
And Brandon Ayuk and Cortland Sutton going off the board really hurts. I really would have. That was who I thought maybe they might switch here, and then. Man, does it get ugly fast here? So let's see the running backs and wide receivers at this point.
Cool. So you got Chase Claypool sitting at the top there, and some running backs popping in like, James Conner obviously just signed a new contract, but how long term he's going to be there, we don't know. Yeah, Tony Pollard and Darrell Henderson running back. You're right. As you said earlier, running back gets ugly pretty quickly.
Yeah. And I'm cool with, I know for the sake of this exercise, we're not doing rookies here, but the way I build my squads is I am going to be investing heavily on all running backs in the rookie drafts, because that's where the majority of the fantasy points come on early in drafts, and those third, fourth round rookie running backs. And they get those that I don't mind playing more of a 0 RB approach and filling in when Elijah Mitchell gets his run, and it happens every year, like certain running backs get their run for 2 or 3 games, and that's how you can piece together your RB2 spot. So it comes down to wide receivers for me. And I'm most likely going to go, if we can just get rid of the running backs at this point.
Yep.
And look at my wide receivers.
So you think in an ideal world here, you'd be taking someone like a Zamir White or someone here that's, not quite pushing your top tier, but you can see a path for them becoming a starter.
So we're in the 8th round, I think, right? So Zamir White. Now, I'm not a Zamir White guy, but I definitely probably don't have to take him right here. But I don't have no problem with getting a Brian Robinson my second round of my rookie drafts. Those type of players, just because that's I have. Or Rashad White probably be a great pick right here. Like, I'd love me some Rashad White with his receiving upside. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But we have Juju Smith-Schuster is the top of my board here. Still a young wide receiver, and he's actually the only player left in this 6th tier for me that's even left. And then it goes down to Chase Claypool, Rondale Moore are in that, and Brandon Cooks are in the next tier here. So this actually gets to be a pretty easy choice of going Juju Smith-Schuster paired with Patrick Mahomes and a Tyreek Hill-less offense in KC.
Yeah, lots of targets to go to other people on that offense now, So Juju Smith-Schuster is still, you're right, you said still young. He seems like he's been around forever, but what age is Juju Smith-Schuster?
I think he's 25 years old.
That's crazy, right? It's just he's been in the league for so long that he seems like he'd be much older.
I'm going to do a quick Juju search here. Yeah, he's 25 years old. He'll be playing he'll be turned 26 halfway through the season in late November.
Yeah. So we got Juju locked into our team there. I've still just got wide receivers on here. Any other positions you're wanting to look at? As Claypool was at the top of that list before, still hanging around there.
So let's look at the running backs here, because this is after now I think we have 4 wide receivers on the roster here.
Yep.
So might be a decent time to just see if there are any running backs that stop out or that stand out. And whew, man, it is not a pretty sight with Tony Pollard in the top of the queue for Dynasty nerds. But I'm going to look at my roster or my settings here, and Kareem Hunt is not on the board. So then it gets to, is Devin Singletary is off the board? Devin Singletary is available?
Yeah.
Devin Singletary and Tony Pollard are kind of the tops, and then Rashad Penny kind of really lead my what I'm thinking here. So I'm going to go Devin Singletary here. The idea is you're going to pair. He really took over that backfield down the stretch, and the pass catch. He's the pass catching role. Yes, I have the threat of a rookie running back coming in, but the upside in that offense. I have Josh Allen takes a lot of rushing touchdowns away here, but I love having a running back attached here. And it comes down to Devin Singletary versus Chase Claypool and Rondale Moore for me. So I'm just going to go. I think I'm going to, well, actually, you know what? I'm going to play it. I think that according to the sim, Devin Singletary is still going to be available here. So I'm going to go. Actually, no, I'm locking in the running back here. Give me Devin Singletary.
Let's get Devin Singletary locked up. And you're right. He really did just take over that role towards the end of the season and looked really good, which I didn't see coming. I got to admit, he looked great towards the end of the year.
Oh, shoot. And that was our second pick. I was thinking we would have another. See, that's when you start, I might have another pick here. And we're seeing a huge QB2 run here. So I'm kind of happy that I got ahead of it with the Kirk Cousins here. And I think my top choice is going to be at the top of the boards we got a choice between Rashad Penny and then Rondale Moore, I guess, is going to be the top of the wide receivers probably.
Yeah. So we got, Cordell Patterson is sort of sitting up there as well. And then you got Rondale Moore. Yeah. Nailed it. Sitting right at the very top.
Rondale Moore. People want to talk all the time about how bad of a season he had. The Cardinals offense was one of the widest target shares in the NFL. They had, I don't know off the top of my head what it is at the finish of the season, but at one point, about 2/3 of the season, they had the most wide receivers. I think 5 or total receivers. I think 5 or 6 pass catchers over something like 50 targets, something like that. It was incredible. Like Zach Ertz, Chase Edmonds, James Conner actually got some targets, and then you've got DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green. That was there. Now I really believe in Rondale Moore, and I really like his price too. Now people don't really like those players that have to be schemed up, but I'm not comparing them at all. But a similar type of player in that he needs to have a little bit of scheme. He doesn't earn his targets in quite the same way that others do. But Debo was like way down in ranks here. This time now he's a top 3 startup pick, a top 2 round or 3 round startup pick here. So I'm going to go Rondale Moore here. Really like having that wide receiver depth, because I'm telling you, if this is a 3 wide receiver team here, to be able to, when injury goes down or to be able to play the matchups, really like having a depth at wide receiver. Yeah,
I think that's great. And you're right. I like the link to Debo as well, where it does show that things are being schemed and they can work. And how far down he was last year. I think last year I managed to swap Debo for Kenny Golladay, like right after Galladay's trade. And at the time people were like, "Oh, why are you taking Debo?" Like blah blah blah, blah. And it's amazing how far we've come since then. So you could get your similar value with Rondale Moore here.
And he disappointed, but he didn't like tank. He had a stretch there. No. He had some serious value. So with a change of scenario here, I really like, and then also too, like, hey, what happens if Rondale really hits and you pair that with Kyler for this build? That gets exciting too.
Yeah, exactly. And people forget, that's his first year. Not everyone's going to be Jamar Chase. Not everyone's going to be Justin Jefferson. It does take time. He's
going to be 22 years old this year. So some of these wide receivers are coming in. He's younger than some of the wide receivers that are coming into this draft. So this is going to be a hard. Actually, it comes down to Rashad Penny and Hunter Renfrow for me. I'm going to go Hunter Renfrow here. We're just really good push this wide receiver build one more, and then I'm not going to go Hunter Renfrow. I really like some of I'm going. This is if sometimes you get too excited collecting the wide receivers. I'm going to start building up my running back 2 carousel here. I know people are really down on Seattle and that offense. They're like, there's no quarterback at the moment. I mean, unless you want to count Drew Lock, and that offense is not exciting. But Rashad Penny, if he can, not even luck his way, but if he comes in there with anywhere from a 65 to 70% target or running back opportunity share, that's going to be mid to high end RB2 numbers, even in one of the worst offenses in the NFL. So give me some Rashad Penny.
Yeah, Rashad Penny going in, and if we know one thing about Pete Carroll, that he's going to run the ball. So Rashad Penny looks like he could be the main starter there. So he's going to get at least lots of opportunities to become one of those maybe not quite running back 1, but certainly running back 2.
So then you see Hunter Renfrow go off the board there. Corey Davis, Tony was also an option there, and. Man, it hurts a little bit here, but now we're getting without rookies. It gets ugly fast.
Yeah, we're only in round 12 as well, so it's only going to get uglier as Jordan Love comes off the board. Just to maybe highlight my point. So here we are. I've still got running back and wide receiver selected here. I can throw in some tight ends or some quarterbacks as well if you want.
Let's just see what the quarterbacks are, just for the sake of it.
Cool. So, he must have been listening. Drew Lock's name pops up. Tom Brady is actually.
Yeah, I guess we'll take Tom Brady here. That's almost like cheating. Yeah, give me Tom Brady.
Yeah, it's gonna look good at the end.
Oh my God, obviously they're breaking the system here, but yeah, I almost feel like it's cheating taking Tom Brady. I'll let you're the moderator. If it's cheating to take Tom Brady here, I don't have to take him.
Hey man, he's there. That's all I can say. He's there.
Give me Tom Brady then.
Yeah. And I think the more people draft him, the more the system figures out and it bumps them up. So you're actually doing future guests a favor by taking Tom Brady here.
Oh my God. That is, yeah. So he should have been going. I would have taken him ahead of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's get Uncle Tom Brady locked in, and we're going to swing by, and we're going back to the 12th round for Tom Brady. Not bad. As Drew Lock comes off the board and Brian Edwards. Oh, Brian. I have so many Brian Edwards
tough
shares.
Decision. Oh gosh, I love me some Brian Edwards. But it gets a tough decision when you have to choose between Drew Lock and Tom Brady. I'm glad we made the right choice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's one of the bigger decisions the hot seat has ever seen. But I think the viewers are going to be pleased with Tom Brady over Drew Lock.
Yeah. This is also, I don't think things have caught up here to the community, but Gabriel Davis is a screaming value here.
Yeah.
Give me Gabriel Davis. I think it's pretty self-explanatory why you'd go get Gabriel Davis here.
Yeah, Gabriel Davis, looked fantastic sort of towards the end of the year. And, with Beasley leaving town as well, he's only going to look even better as, Gabe Davis, another one of the most picked players on the show. I think people are expecting, big things from him, and I think you can do it, especially with Josh Allen. Okay.
Tommy Brown going right after Rob Gronkowski. I wasn't ready for that.
All right, I'll flick on tight ends as well for you, just so you can see the full board. You got Drake and Hardman and Naheem Hines up there, and Zach Ertz and Adam Troutman and Logan Thomas, other tight ends that are appearing.
So it's really going to come down to Naheem Hines or Zach Ertz, and because I'm not like, when you invest a top 2 pick, I don't care I'll stream my second round pick here, but then Zach Ertz does offer some really nice value. So it comes down to Naheem Hines, and I had a long wait here. So I am going to go Naheem Hines. Hope to God Zach Ertz makes it back. I already know that he's not going to make it back to me, but I'm going Naheem Hines to keep Matt Ryan targets running backs at a decent clip out of the backfield, and Naheem, there's already chatter, coach speak, take that for what it's worth, but the Naheem Hines can be more involved here. And there's not a lot of wide receivers in Indy right now. No. So someone's going to catch the ball here. I'll take Naheem Hines.
Yeah, I read that today, I think, talk about Naheem Hines even playing quite a lot from the slot and having Taylor at running back and Naheem Hines in the slot. That'll be very interesting. And you're right. Who else are they throwing the ball to? It's Michael Pittman and, some guys off the street. So let's get Naheem Hines put into. And we got a short wait. We're hoping we don't see Zach Ertz. Oh,
There he goes right there. So
I'm,
you jinxed us right there.
I'm so sorry. Will, I can leave tight end on as well if you want to have a look at your second tight end. Unfortunately, won't be Zach Ertz. It's Logan Thomas is there, Evan Ingram, Johnny Smith, and Robert Tonyan as well. They're at tight end.
So the real hard point there that Russell Gage went off the pick before too as well. With Tom, like he taking over, like the idea is that you got Mike Evans and then Chris Godwin, who knows what his injury. It's going to be tough for him to be 100% come the beginning of the season. So you could have Russell Gage, who earns a decent target share in Atlanta last year. What's to say that Tom Brady can't look to him as a decent outlet out of the slot? Would have been a solid pick there. But this comes down to basically Van Jefferson, who off the show, I told you that I was no way in hell was going to take him here, but it's funny how that becomes a real option. You start to look at who your other options are, but it comes down to honestly, Evan Ingram and Marquez Callaway are actually another options too. Marquez Callaway is only 24 years old. Not, Michael Thomas is there, but Jameis Winston can't I know they went to more game manager type role with him, but they're, things are not looking great in New Orleans right now. I don't mind. Marquez Callaway could very easily be the third option in the passing game in New Orleans, where I'm looking at, Logan Thomas is injured. Then Mitchell Trubisky is a screaming value right here too as well. Give me Mitchell Trubisky here. Just for there's no way he's going at this point in drafts, but might as well take advantage of what we can get.
Yeah, I think Mitchell Trubisky here, great value in the 15th round, and I think he has deserved a second chance in the NFL. People almost forget he did take that Bears team to the playoffs, which is no easy feat. So I think he'll look pretty good next year.
His rushing ability paired with the weapons he has, and there's very good chance that Pitt takes a quarterback here. So who knows if he's guaranteed a starting job.
Okay. Here we are. Pick 16 of 18. You got Taysom Hill, Dearness Johnson, Amari Rodgers. This is, like I said at the start of the show, this is my favorite part. The last three picks really, lets the people listening know, where's the value in these kind of players towards the end. And it's almost like you're just thinking about upside here, I imagine.
See, and now that when you talk about upside here, this name doesn't scream upside, but they really like him in Baltimore, and people want to talk about, this is J.K. Dobbins' backfield, blah, blah, blah. But the last time we saw both these players play, it was a 50-50 split. They're both coming off knee injuries, and I know one is younger than the other with more presumed talent here, but they really, really like Gus Edwards, and he has they gave him, I think he's in the last year of his contract here, but they paid him, I'm not like huge, but for an unrestricted free agent or for a UDFA type player, Gus Edwards has gotten a lot of love in Baltimore here. So I think to keep pounding that, to give me options at running back here, I'm probably going to go Gus Edwards and then probably follow up with either James White or Gerald Everett. Probably going to be my next two picks. And then Keyshawn Vaughn always enters into play too as well.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, let's get Gus Edwards locked in then and hope that, we've only got a short wait to our next pick. So let's hope that we get our guy, or maybe both of them might be available, as Tyler Higbee and Cole Beasley come off the board. I think we might have James White and Gerald Everett still available. Yeah, James White and Gerald Everett right next to each other.
And then it doesn't matter though, because I'm going to take Albert Okwuegbunam. And people need to realize too, you're sharing your screen with me. I can't scroll up. For the sake of the listeners, I'm not going to sit here and move up and have him keep scrolling down to the bottom of these quiz to see who is available here. But to see Albert O available, yeah, I'll slant. I think that's my second tight end too. That's give me Albert O.
Yeah, I think Albert O would be your second tight end. So let's get him locked in. What great value in the 70. You imagine he'll sort of start creeping up as well as the episodes keep going.
He's going to be a top 10 tight end in Dynasty by the time the regular season starts. Yeah,
I think so as well. And, he's looked really good in that sort of, I don't want to say backup role to Fant because he was kind of like a semi backup, but he's looked good when he's played as well. That's what I'm trying to say. And here we are. It's the final pick. We've got Tylan Wallace. You got Tariq Cohen, Brevin Jordan. You've got Antonio Brown. Wow, what a way that would be to close out the draft.
Not loving any of these picks. Can you actually scroll down a little bit for me? Just
Yeah,
to
of course.
see what we got. David Njoku's there.
Mm.
So I'm going to actually go KJ Osborne, getting the third wide receiver out there in Minnesota to pair with Kirk Cousins. And, Adam Thielen has not been a picture of health with soft tissue injuries here the last couple seasons, and he's getting up there in age. And they're probably most likely going to add wide receiver at some point in the draft. But I still like the idea of KJ Osborne, considering the options here. Now,
yeah,
I would also consider another running back. Like this is these lower rookie running backs like the Kevin Harris of the world, all these low Damian Pierces, all these third and fourth round rookie running backs would be scooping them up here. But just for the sake of things, we'll wrap it up with some KJ Osborne.
Let's get KJ Osborne locked in as our final pick. And the last 3 picks of the draft, we got Emmanuel Sanders, Tylan Wallace, and who's our final pick? And Tariq Cohen rounded off the draft. So let's have a little look. We'll sort by position and let's see how we did. You've got 4 QBs. You got Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins, Tom Brady, and Mitchell Trubisky. Very, very strong quarterback room there. We've got a running back, Travis Etienne, Devin Singletary, Rashad Penny, Naheem Hines, and Gus the Bus Edwards. And then you got a really super strong wide receiver core. T. Higgins, Deontay Johnson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Rondale Moore, Gabriel Davis, and KJ Osborne. And then your 2 tight ends, Cal Pitts and Albert O. Got to be pleased with how you've done there.
So, and this is only one. Remember, the draft is one. I'm sure that you get this all the time here. Don't draft your starting lineup in the draft. You got to play for value. There's a long time before we start scoring actual fantasy points. This running back room is going to be severely increased with draft picks and trades and things of the like. So the weak point for me is the running back, and maybe I would like to have one. I love T. Higgins, but I don't love him as my wide receiver 1. I love him as my wide receiver 2 on a team, but that's something I'd probably be doing. I'd probably trade Kyle Pitts for a wide receiver plus or a running back plus here, and to really round out this squad for me.
Yeah, but it's still, still looking really, really, really strong overall, I have to say. So, Dave, how are you feeling now that the draft is over? Is your seat feeling a bit cooler, or are you?
I have melted into my pants have officially melted into my seat. I'm going to need the fire extinguisher. I'm sweating. I need to rehydrate. The Hotseat, I was feeling it. This is my first time using the Dynasty Nerds tool. I didn't quite know what the values were off the screen, what we couldn't see here. So it was a fun exercise here. And it was definitely eye-opening before we hit record and hear no rookies, because I guarantee you half of my picks would have been rookies, probably more than, or at least 40% of my team would have been rookies if it was a real startup. Nice.
Well, we'll maybe get you on next season. Let's see if we can get some of this year's rookies onto your team. But Dave, just want to say thank you so much again for coming on to the Hot Seat, being an absolutely brilliant guest. And sitting right behind me here, we have our Hall of Flame. So if you want Dave to enter the Hall of Flame, all you got to do, if you're watching this on YouTube, just gives us a thumbs up. The more thumbs up Dave gets, the higher up the Hall of Flame he's going to climb. So let's see if we can push him into the top 3 and maybe even become, hit those Spaceman heights up at the very top. So
Ooh. Take this to outer space here.
Let's do it. So guys, just want to say thank you once again for listening. And even though the hot seat is cooling down, I just want you and your teams to remember to always stay lit. See you next time.